Oops. Alright. Did not mean to start that so soon, but there we go. We are live here now. The time is currently 2:41 p.m. Central. I forgot that I already had my broadcast created. All I had to do was click start streaming, and I did, and, and then it brought me here, and I wasn't quite ready, but here we go, guys. We are watching the beginning of an ongoing severe weather outbreak here across portions of the plains. Once again today, we've got ourselves another enhanced risk of severe weather for portions of West Kansas, southwest Nebraska, and eastern Colorado. This one is pretty significant. We're talking about the potential for damaging winds up to 80 miles per hour and hail up to lime size. We can't rule out a brief spin-up tornado or a landspout, but the threat for tornadoes overall today is extremely low, actually. If we take a look at the Storm Prediction Center outlook, we can see we do not have a tornado risk in play according to them, but according to NATOcast, they do think that there is a 2% chance to see a tornado within 25 miles of any given point for a very, very small sliver of Nebraska. So tornadoes are not the main concern today. They're not. We're going to be mainly concerned about these damaging winds, which again, we're going to have the potential to see an MCS event as we go later into the evening time hours. It's going to be pretty intense, I think, for millions of people here across portions of the plains. Well, again, mainly the area that we're watching today in particular would be northwest Kansas, alright? And actually, we do have ourselves a few storms out there right now in northwest Kansas that are producing damaging winds up to 70 miles per hour and hail up to ping pong ball size. This line of storms here, not really this line of storms, but this cluster of storms has been going for a while, alright? Packing a punch into portions of eastern Colorado there. We've had reports of damaging winds up to 70 miles per hour. We have reports of tree limbs being downed, and more. So we're going to have to go ahead and take this event quite seriously here because, again, even though there's not a tornado threat, we are going to have the potential to see tornado force winds today, which obviously can cause just as much damage. So some of the bigger cities that we have included in this enhanced risk of severe weather include Kearney, Nebraska, McCook, Nebraska, Goodland, Kansas, Hayes, Kansas, Dodge City, Kansas, Garden City, Kansas, Ulysses, Kansas, and Liberal, Kansas. Liberal, Kansas is right along the edge there. So we have got ourselves almost 2 million people facing at least a marginal threat of severe thunderstorms today. We've got ourselves over 500,000 people facing a slight risk of severe weather today, and we've got almost 500,000 people facing an enhanced risk of severe weather today, that being a 3 out of 5 on the severe weather scale. An enhanced risk is where things get quite serious, alright? Enhanced risks are where we start to see some more significant damage. We see impacts and threats to, life or property in some spots. And I do think that we're going to see some of that today, again, mainly in the form of damaging wind gusts, potentially, ripping up some trees, some power lines, causing structural damage to weaker structures, and we could actually have some broad rotation trying to develop on our storm right now. It looks like this storm actually did cause some power outages here back whenever it was closer to portions of Colorado here. This is Yuma County here. We currently have 159 customers without power, and we're going to continue to see, effects like that spill into portions of Kansas and Nebraska here, I imagine, as this storm continues. So again, we're going to be watching this here live for you guys. If we take a look here at the HRRR model and see what it's thinking for today's event, right, we can see that right now we got our storms up there in portions of central Nebraska, but they're not really severe or anything, and we do have a little storm here, again, causing some isolated but significant problems here for parts of northwest Kansas, southwest Nebraska, northeast Colorado, the tri-state area there. But by 5 p.m., we start to see some potential supercells even try to get firing here in portions of central Nebraska, and if we do see any sort of tornado threat today, this is where it would lie, at about 5 p.m. into portions of Nebraska whenever we see these discrete cells firing off. But again, the environment is just not that favorable for tornadoes today, luckily. But again, the main threat for tornadoes would be somewhere between 5 and 7 p.m. By 9 p.m., we can see that we do have, again, that potential for 70 to 80 mile per hour damaging wind gusts here with this cluster of storms that we're going to potentially see develop across northeast Colorado, southwest Nebraska, and northwest Kansas, similar to the area that we're talking about right now. So if you're getting hit with storms right now, unfortunately, there's a good chance that you see more of that later today. By 10 p.m., we can really see this take on kind of a line formation here, all right, stretching from Goodland, Kansas, back up towards southwest Nebraska there. Again, we're going to see the potential for damaging winds up to 80 miles per hour with that. That'll continue to head south by 1 a.m., still packing punch here with potentially some severe wind gusts as it approaches Dodge City. That'll continue to head southeast, and by 5 a.m., we're not really dealing with any sort sort of major severe weather threat anymore, but we could have some lingering thunder showers out here in portions of West Oklahoma and maybe South Kansas to watch out for, right? So that's what the ARRR is saying for today. If we take a look over at the NAM, it's actually a bit different here, right? So I guess we can't see the newest run in the NAM, but if we take it back to the last run of the NAM here, the 12Z, this is what it was saying for right now, right? It was saying that we would have, some showers out here in northwest Kansas, but again, neither the NAM or the ARRR really painted these very well because these storms actually way exceeded our expectations here. But anyway, it's saying that by 6 p.m. we've got ourselves, again, some potential supercells firing here in parts of Nebraska, but again, it says that this event is going to be a little bit later than when the ARRR was saying, alright? By 7, 8 p.m., we still got the potential there for some large hail and damaging winds in portions of Nebraska. And that line of storms in northwest Kansas really gets going at around 9 p.m. They're around the Goodland area, and the NAM isn't saying too much for that line, alright? Maybe some brief 70 to 80 mile per hour winds near the Goodland area, but it doesn't have it staying, intact for very long. Like, it's going to, be very long-lasting. But we'll see what happens. So I'm going to go and bring up stream chat. So if anybody has any questions about their location, feel free to leave those down below. Try to answer them accurately and honestly. But yeah, I've got ourselves another serious severe weather risk to watch out for today. When originally this day was a marginal risk. And, here we go. Now we're at an enhanced, which, we really have to go live for enhanced risks, all right? Marginal risks, usually we don't go live. Sometimes we do. Whenever it's a slight risk, usually we always have to go live, except for on rare exceptions, like yesterday. And then today, whenever we have an enhanced risk, it's not a debate, all right? We're going live if we have an enhanced risk, so yeah. Yeah, again, Kevin, like I was saying at the beginning of the stream, the tornado threat, it's very low. We don't have ourselves some sort of strong tornado threat in the cards for today. Again, if anything, maybe a brief land spout. What's up, Sam? What's up, Airborne? What's up, Gooseman? What's up, Chloe? Watching from Superior, Nebraska. Let's go ahead and check that out. So, Superior, Nebraska, you're in the slight risk of severe weather. I think a lot of the activity should stay off to the west of you, but we can't guarantee that you won't get in on some weaker storms. So, if we kind of play this out, right, by, this afternoon into this evening, you may see a stray thunder shower or something, but nothing too intense. But around midnight, you may have to watch out for the potential for some strong to severe storms in your area, kind of from the midnight to 3 a.m. corridor, but it shouldn't be anything where, you need to stay up that late. It shouldn't be anything that intense, luckily. So just make sure that you have multiple ways to receive alerts on hand, and you'll be good to go. Yeah, I don't know if when was the last time that we had enhanced risk of severe weather without any tornado probabilities from the SPC? I'm sure it's happened before, but, when? I've never seen it happen. At least not on the day one outlook. Maybe I've seen it happen before, I just don't really remember. NATOcast has come out with their new, forecast here. So this is the 14Z outlook. If we go and bring this up on your screen here, we can see the tornado probabilities have gotten even lower since our last check. Last time, they had a small 2% risk out for parts of Nebraska. Now, it's a 1% risk for a very small section of northwest Kansas there. So again, we really don't have to watch out for tornadoes today. It's really not a big threat at all. Again, the problem is going to be the tornado force winds that we see. But the chance that we actually see a tornado today is pretty low. So, but we should get a new SPC update here in about 10 minutes. So, we'll see what happens with their outlook. But again, NATOcast is lowering the tornado probabilities, which were already very low. But yeah. Yeah, there's a good chance that we see an intense MCS again. I'm kind of surprised they made the enhanced risk as big as they did. If I were putting the enhanced risk, I would have done something like that. All right, I would have put it out for eastern Colorado, southwest Nebraska, northwest Kansas. That would be my enhanced risk of severe weather there. Let me try and draw with an orange. So that definitely includes Goodland, Kansas. Maybe not that far west. But that definitely includes Goodland, Kansas, McCook, Nebraska, maybe areas like Ray, Colorado, Colby, Kansas. I think that MCS event is really going to be our main threat that we have to watch later this evening, which will be a completely separate stream. But yeah. I like what the SPC did with the slight risk. I like how it goes all the way back up into parts of Nebraska. But again, I'm kind of surprised they made... First of all, I'm just surprised they issued the enhanced risk at all, but I'm surprised they made it as big as they did. But... So on our storm here in the St. Francis area, we actually have a pretty significant gust front, it looks like. So if you're in St. Francis or Bird City, the winds will get intense before the storm even arrives. So don't wait for it to happen. Don't wait for it to start raining. Just get indoors and away from windows immediately. Very intense gust front here, it looks like. Which again could, bring almost no rain, but it will get very windy. And we're talking about the potential for winds up to 70 miles an hour with this storm here. We do have storm chaser Vince Welty out there today. He's out there in Trenton, Nebraska right now, chasing a little storm here that currently is producing some heavy rainfall over Trenton. Cell developing in eastern Colorado. Talking about this. Yeah, that actually is kind of exploding pretty quick here, so that's something to watch. You had a severe thunderstorm yesterday with some damage to your yard. A tree almost hit our house. Thankfully didn't. Become worst case scenario. So just putting that out there. Yeah, I hope you're doing okay. Again, the southeast just sees these types of storms, unfortunately quite frequently during the summer. Again, today we've got more storms out there to watch in parts of South Carolina, Georgia, Alabama, Mississippi, North Carolina. Just because that summertime pattern, brings us kind of stuff. We even had a land spout today in Georgia, which is insane. But these storms, I feel like, always overperform. And Florida as well, definitely. Ryan Scholl will be out there chasing. Yeah, I heard about that, but he's not on Radar Omega, so we can't, unfortunately, bring up his feed. And again, we're not going to have Vince Welty's feed up the entire time, because I don't have permission, obviously, but we'll bring it up every now and then, see what's up, if we need to. But... again, really just watching this one storm right now that has this severe thunderstorm warning, but it's a quite intense one. Again, I really didn't mean to go live as early as I did. But, now that we're here, it's like, might as well. Sorry, we are not on a tornado warning. That was a mistake. Little bug. So... again, I mean, if you're in, St. Francis, towards Idalia, Hale, right along the Colorado-Kansas state line here, you're going to have the potential for 70-mile-an-hour winds over the next few minutes. So you need to get indoors and you need to get away from windows, because these kind of winds, they're going to down trees, they're going to down power lines, they're going to cause structural damage to weaker structures. Look at this. Wind damage with these storms will occur before any rain or lightning. Do not wait for the sound of thunder before taking cover. Seek shelter immediately inside a sturdy structure and stay away from windows. Again, this is an elevated version of a severe thunderstorm warning. This has the considerable tag on it for 70-mile-per-hour damaging wind gusts. I think this storm up here in Nebraska is going to get severe warning any minute, by the way. Looks like a pretty massive hail core over Stockville there. And that's coming right into Stockville over the next couple of minutes. So if you're in that area, make sure you're getting indoors. Last check from the National Weather Service, the storm's producing 50-mile-per-hour wind gusts and penny-sized hail at this point. Again, it looks to be intensifying, so we'll see if they issue a severe thunderstorm warning for this. The trio. You're talking about me, Mr. Storm, and Roman. Mr. Storm's at a friend's house, and Roman is tired. He stays up until like 5 a.m., which if you hear him say he's tired randomly in the middle of the stream, that's why. Seeing some broad rotation in Valdosta, Georgia? Or is there one in Kansas? Nebraska, Colorado. Okay, you must be talking about Georgia. Let's check it out. So with this storm here near Blanton, perhaps, but doesn't look like anything too impressive. So let's go back out to our severe warning for Cheyenne and Rollins County. So again, Wheeler's starting to get in on some of those damaging winds, most likely. Overall, this storm actually looks to be weakening. Earlier, it had a much more impressive look. Actually, it had the most impressive look a couple hours ago, back while it was in Colorado. I've been watching this one for a while, guys, because there's been nothing else to look at so far. But I do think that this cell is going to pop up and kind of take over here near Stockville. Again, this is in Nebraska. Unfortunately, this is in a radar hole. Yeah, southwest Nebraska is a pretty bad radar hole because the problem is we have, Goodland and the Hastings radar, but neither of those are really close enough to reach storms like the one that we have in this area. Yeah, I was not expecting an enhanced risk either, but that's what the Storm Prediction Center did, and again, it's not a tornado threat that we're worried about today, not at all. In fact, in the new Storm Prediction Center outlook that should be coming out literally any minute, we're likely going to see them continue that no tornado risk. Now, keep in mind that that doesn't mean it's... excuse me. I don't know what happened. That doesn't mean a 0% tornado risk. It means a less than 2% risk. So, for example, models like NATOcast that go into the more specific numbers, they have a 1% risk out for today, right? So just because we don't have a 2% risk from the SPC doesn't mean we can't completely, or that we can completely rule out a brief tornado. For some reason, the SPC website's not loading. Okay, it's because they were putting the new risk in. So, the new risk is out. Can't load it yet, but I do see that it came out 2 minutes ago. Had shelf cloud with that storm in South Carolina. Yeah, that's always a pretty crazy sighting. Okay. I have a problem. That was a weird way to start a sentence. But, so the derecho a few days ago, I got the leftovers of it. We had some decent winds. Knocked over tree limbs, knocked over loose objects. The problem is, it was after midnight when it happened, so you can't see anything in the video. Do I post it? Do you guys want to see that? I've been split. What's up, Sean? But, I don't know. You guys will have to let me know. Do you want to see that? So, the severe thunderstorm warning, by the way, has been downgraded to 60-mile-per-hour winds and penny-sized hail. As I said, this thing looks to be weakening quite a significant amount here. You do? Alright. You don't judge? Yeah, I mean, I just don't think it's going to be a good piece of content. Like, there's nothing impressive about it. It's just going to be a black picture the whole time. And then at the end, I have me going out and looking at the damage, which it's not any crazy damage. But yeah. So, again, if you're just not tuning in, we are tracking a severe thunderstorm in Kansas for, heading for St. Francis and Bird City. This is a severe thunderstorm warning for Cheyenne County in northwest Kansas. The threats with this storm include 60-mile-per-hour damaging wind gusts and penny-sized hail. This has a history of doing some significant damage. We have a report now of a pine tree being damaged in Colorado from this storm. Again, we've had 70-mile-an-hour wind gusts reported out of this storm so far. So I'll have to watch what's going on. It's sunny for you today. That's nice. It's pretty sunny here. It's honestly a beautiful day here. Partly cloudy and about 75, 80. Or is it closer to 85? I don't even know. I haven't been outside that much today. I'm going to check that out. See what's the temperature today. We do have a new gust report out of this storm. The highest gust report that this mesonet got here was 53 miles an hour. So at this point, there's actually a good chance this storm is below severe limits. Yeah, it's 77 degrees here. I mean, we do not get that very often during the summer. Normally, it's like 90 on a day like this normally. Yeah, hopefully there's nobody traveling along Highway 36 here between St. Francis and McDonald, or really in between McDonald and Kirk, because this gust front is going along the whole highway here, this whole section of the highway, and 60-mile-an-hour wind gusts still are enough to tip over semis at times if they're really big ones. So. But again, our Stockville storm here, nothing in terms of a severe warning yet. I wouldn't rule it out. It's heading southeast towards Cambridge and Arapahoe. You're going to get some footage? Alright, sounds good. In the 70s where you live, yeah, it's a big cool down here out in the central United States for sure. But again, right now we're just watching the one storm here. This thunderstorm will produce strong winds resulting in areas of near zero visibility and blowing dirt. Use extreme caution if you must travel and be alert for rapidly changing visibility. And that's in Rawlins County right now, I believe, or is that Cheyenne County? Cheyenne County. So this storm right now is mainly in northern portions of Cheyenne County, but where you may be experiencing the winds would be down in kind of southwestern Cheyenne County out towards Colorado here. At the moment. Now we do have Storm Chaser Nathan Moore up here on Radar Omega. Wow, look at that. Look at that. Look at all that scud, the blowing dust.
The storm's got some blues in it. Got some danglies over here, Barry?
It's got some danglies. Lots of scud. Lots of scud fingers. Look at all that. Look at all the blowing dust, dude. Holy crap. We have got ourselves a massive dust storm here. Oh, wow. Look at that. That's crazy.
Not sure which WFO is supposed to warn that one.
Alright, it's sticking
It'll
back
either
up.
be North Platte or Hastings.
Dude, look at all that dust in the back.
Uh-oh, here we go again.
And that's from the storm that we're watching here. It's ahead of the storm. It's a little scuddious. Dude, I can't believe this doesn't have a severe thunderstorm warning with a hail core like that. Chunky hail in there. Chunky hail indeed. I just now realized my camera was blocking most of the view there that whole time, so that's cool. Again, I think this will get a severe thunderstorm warning. I'm kind of shocked that it hasn't already. I mean, we are seeing a serious hail core with this, and also damaging winds, creating very low visibility. And, you know, that could be similar actually to what we're seeing down here in Kansas. That's why they put this tag on here on this warning. Because whenever you have dirt roads out here, we always get huge dust storms whenever we have, you know, big-time wind events. So there's the new Storm Prediction Center outlook that just came through on Radar Omega here. Still an enhanced risk of severe weather. Again, no sort of tornado threat, just the wind threat and the hail threat to watch. Blowing dust emergency incoming. Let's see if they issue a blowing dust emergency. Wow, look at all that. The dust isn't quite kicking up like it was, but that's still insane. If this was facing the road, I'd bet money that we'd be able to see something similar to that. So, we do actually have a storm up here in South Dakota that is a special weather statement heading for Rosebud. Near Parmelee. 40-mile-an-hour winds and penny-sized hail. And the storm here still only has a special weather statement. 50 to 55-mile-an-hour winds and nickel-sized hail. I don't know. I don't understand why they're not issuing a severe warning for that. But whatever. This is for northeastern. Is that Frontier County? No, that'd be Red Willow County. Correct? Yes, northeastern Red Willow County here in southwest Nebraska. This includes Bartley and Indianola. Not quite towards Red Willow or McCook. But those areas should still remain alert for maybe some rain and a little bit of wind. Yeah, any new viewers, welcome in. This is live severe weather coverage here on July 19th, 2024. Yeah, I really should get a severe thunderstorm warning. So, again, if you're not aware already, today we're tracking severe weather out here in the plains. We've got ourselves an enhanced risk of severe weather, that of which being a 3 out of 5 on the Storm Prediction Center scale, which is a pretty big deal if you're included in it. So, we're going to see some damaging winds. We're going to see some large hail. Tornadoes aren't a super high threat today, but still, we're going to see tornado force winds, which obviously could cause the same level of destruction to a lot of these communities out here. So, if you're in western Kansas today, this is our target zone, so look out. In that severe thunderstorm warning, 4 portions of Kansas here has been removed. So, we don't have any severe weather alerts right now. I don't have a layout for nothing. What do I do? There we go. Fixed it. Aha. Then we'll turn that down to 0. There we go. How do you guys like it? Again, I don't know why they're not just severe warning this Nebraska storm entering Kansas. Heat alerts. I mean, I could change the layout to special weather statement, but that's a little ridiculous. Yeah, the event is just starting, and again, the main time frame to watch would be actually later this evening for cells in central Nebraska, and then after that, we're going to be watching the potential for destructive winds in northwest Kansas. So just because we don't have any alerts right now doesn't mean this is a bust. This isn't when we were expecting the greatest severe weather time frame to be at. As you can see by the models, we were not expecting any, storm like this. So actually, if anything, this is kind of an overperforming start to the event. But we'll keep watch here for a couple more minutes. If nothing kicks off, then we'll end the stream. While we're here, we could talk about the threat for severe weather tomorrow. We do actually have ourselves a couple of marginal risks. We've got one centered around the Mid-Atlantic area, which should just be a big wind bag, kind of similar to the event that we had yesterday that I did not end up going live for. I just didn't feel the need to. It's damaging winds. what else is there to say, really? And then we've also got ourselves a marginal risk centered across portions of, well, what would you call this? The dusty, the dusty area of the Four Corner States. I mean, the entirety of the Four Corner States are pretty dusty, actually. Okay. Could there be 90-mile-per-hour winds if the storms get going? Probably not. That's another thing. The tropics are so quiet today. Or not just today, but they've been quiet for so long. And, I really think that we could end up seeing a below-average season, which is crazy to say, considering we had the earliest Cat 5 ever. But I would not be totally shocked at this point if we saw a below-average season. Now, the thing to note, and the reason that still I think it's a greater likelihood that we see an above-average season, is we are not even close to the peak of hurricane season yet, right? So I still think we're going to see an above-average season, but I wouldn't be totally shocked at this point if we got a couple less storms than normal. So, anyway. Bro, Mr. Storm's... He's playing his first game of Fortnite. But yeah. We do actually have a severe thunderstorm warning now for that Nebraska storm. $half size tail, 60-mile-an-hour winds. Finally, they decided to warn it. So now I gotta change all this. Dang it. I wasn't expecting yet another warning. So, we got that fixed. Alright. But yeah, the tropics are kind of dead. We kind of have a massive cluster of rain out here in eastern Nebraska, and you may be thinking, well, Davis, why are we not seeing severe storms out of this? Nothing out here is discrete. The environment's really not that favorable out here either, but the main thing is nothing's discrete, right? So instead of, seeing big-time storms, what we're just seeing here is a big cluster of rain, which will lead to flash flooding, and it already is, in fact, across parts of South Dakota and Nebraska, but it's not going to create a huge severe weather threat, which is why the threat out here is marginal in eastern Nebraska, and even a no threat in extreme southeast Nebraska. We did just get a new severe thunderstorm warning for ping pong ball size tail and 60-mile-an-hour damaging wind gusts for this storm. The reason that we're seeing this is because it's two different National Weather Service zones. So, the National Weather Service in Hastings thinks this has a ping pong ball size hail threat, while North Platte thinks it has a $half size hail threat. I'd be leaning closer to Hastings, honestly. And, this wouldn't be the first time that we've had North Platte mess up, but we're not going to go too in depth with that. But I still remember that night like it was yesterday. I mean, it wasn't that long ago. I'm making it sound like it was 5 years ago. It was a couple weeks ago. But I still can't believe what happened. How do you let a tornado that had EF4 wind speeds go unwarned? And then whenever you do warn it, you put a radar indicator. It would have been more reasonable for them to issue a tornado emergency than it would have been than what they did. That probably didn't make sense. I would have been less upset if they had issued a tornado emergency rather than what they ended up doing. Because that storm, you could make the case for a tornado emergency. The only thing that was holding that back, in my opinion, from a Tory would be the low population. By the way, I saw that new warning. You're not sneaky, Bartley. We do have a new severe thunderstorm warning here. I think this is 3 different National Weather Service zones, which is why we have 3 warnings for one storm here. Yep, Goodland. So Goodland, Kansas, Hastings, Nebraska, and North Platte, Nebraska. 3 severe thunderstorm warnings for one storm. That's kind of funny. Sorry guys, I'm trying to make this whole process more automatic. I need to get rid of this, the hotkeys feature, because originally this was made so that I could switch in between layouts during, without exiting this Raider Omega, but it doesn't even work because I'm not technically tabbed into OBS anymore. So, I don't know what to do. But, anyway. Wow! This is just an incredible looking storm, dude. That's crazy. Dude, can you imagine seeing that in real life? Beautiful. It's a beauty. But anyway, I think that we're going to end off our live coverage here since we don't really have much to talk about. I want to thank you all for tuning in. Remember, we'll be live later this evening for our Nebraska event. And I don't know, it's just enough of a time gap in between that event and our Northwest Kansas event that I may have to cut it into 2 streams, but it wouldn't be a very long wait in between. So we'll see if I have one